but it's very powerful. You know, you'll see some people give all sorts of exotic forms of analysis on the dollar, and I'm telling you, it's not any more valuable than looking at where the major trends are. What is the dollar actually doing? What are the points where I would say we have the possibility, the potential has now shifted into the favor that there could be, let's say, a dollar crash or some sort of a meltdown over time in the dollar? The first thing that I would be looking for is this embedded primary rising channel, which right now comes in at the 97 level. For reference, the dollar closed at 98.17. So only about a 1.2 points below where we are now. If we break this rising trend here, you can see that the market is clearly losing some support. And then this market could begin to move down toward the bottom end of the red arrow. And then what would the really big point be, however? It would be this: the long-term, multi-decade lower boundary. Always the lower boundary.
This Creditors in Commerce classroom session, hereinafter session, is the private exchange of ideas and concepts between the providers and the recipients. The content is not meant as legal advice. The use or attempted use of any idea or procedure discussed in this session as applied to the recipient's own personal transactions, cases, or controversy, or applied to other cases, may or may not result in a favorable outcome or the same outcome as discussed in this session. Each transition or transaction, case, or controversy may be different as a result of unique actions or unique statements made by the parties therein, and each different act or statement in any transaction affects or may affect whether any procedure or idea discussed in this session is relevant to your transaction or that the outcome thereof will be depicted as in this session. The discussion of ideas or procedures in this session is not exhaustive of the subject being discussed. Many ideas and concepts that can affect the outcome of any legal or commercial procedure are not discussed in this session, and the fact that you may not be aware of these issues may have an adverse effect on the outcome of your procedure. It is the responsibility of each party to understand his own transactions and to apply the appropriate and complete concepts necessary for a procedural and substantive remedy thereto. This session may be redistributed privately by any recipient to another recipient requesting them, conditioned upon the fact that this notice is provided therewith. If you have any questions, you may contact Brandon by email at harmony@creditorsincommerce.com or by telephone at 702-866-9077. Okay, is Mark here? Mark's not here? Okay. How's everybody?
Great.
Good. Great.
Good.
Marvelous. Very nice.
Spring is here.
Anyone got any stories to tell? Lots of stories? Let's hear some stories. Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah.
Back here? Can I get a microphone over here?
Yeah, Brandon, Rob. Hey, so I had my first conversation with my IRS agent this week.
Another virgin.
I haven't submitted taxes since I didn't even know when. Like, I had to ask them. I'm not even sure what year was the last year that I submitted taxes, so if you could tell me. But I was facing lunch, and I was kind of putting it off, and I said, dude, just call the IRS. Come on, just have the conversation. So I just got myself in a really great space of being a creditor and knowing that I was committed to provide whatever remedy that they needed and to have them tell me what it was that I owed. So it was just phenomenal. I just had the greatest, lightest conversation with this woman. I was kind of laughing. You know, she had to put me on hold. And then it was Romeo and Juliet, the ballet classical piece on the hold music. And then I came back on and I said, wow, your hold music is Romeo and Juliet, which is like the perfect music for the conversation that we're having right now. So I just really enjoying myself. And what prompted it was that I got my credit report because I hadn't looked at my credit report in ages, and I found a $13,000 federal tax lien had been placed on my credit report that I had no idea had been placed there. Unfortunately, it was placed in November of '08, so it was recent. So Ryan in the group suggested that I call the Central Tax Lien Office or whatever that is, and gave me the number. So I called them up and explained that to them. And they said, yeah, we've got an old address, so I guess all of the mailings or warnings or alerts have been sent to some other address, and you had no idea. So I said, great, well, just tell me what that represents, and if you could please send me, a bill with kind of a payment coupon or form that I could send back. I'd love to take care of that matter. So that was the conversation, And she's like, well, we can't do that, but we can send you a payment letter. And I said, okay, well, just, give me an itemized bill so that I can take care of it for you. And she said, great, and, we'll, as soon as it gets done, then we'll take the lien off. And, they gave me these assurances that they would take care of the matter. And I said, oh, by the way, that was the tax lien, and I said, could you send me to the regular office because I haven't filed my taxes since I don't know when. So she said, great, call those guys. So I asked them what was going on. They said, yeah, you filed, up to like 2001, and the lien has to do with 3, 4, 5 or something like that. So I said, great, I'm going to take care of the matter, and, I'll be in communication with you guys. I just want to get it settled. And we all kissed and hugged and said goodbye. So it was like crazy, it was just completely transformed. So that's as a result of the education that we're getting here. So nice. I had that experience this week.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Stories, more stories. I mean, I think it's, Intelligence, find out. Here's an example of what I might say if I were researching my card and I wanted to find out what bank and EIN were behind the transactions on that account. May I please get the information on the bank that pays out the transactions each time I use my card? Okay, because whatever bank is paying out those transactions is the bank that's withholding your interest. It's not the service company where you send your bills to. It's not necessarily the name of the company on the front of the card. If it says Sears on the front of the card, guess what? It ain't Sears. Sears ain't a bank. Okay? You need to do your due diligence. Find out who's actually behind the accounts on anything that you're going to report. Take responsibility for the forms you fill out. Take responsibility for the processes you undertake. Now, I was exposed to some very, very powerful information this weekend. And I'm hesitant to share it because so far I've seen a high level of irresponsibility. I've seen greed, people trying to come up with schemes on how they can defraud their bank and the IRS and make more money. Okay? Just learn how to do banking, you guys. Stay above board. IRS is your best friend until you start defrauding banks and the IRS. Then you're going to end up in jail. Okay? So don't try to come up with a scheme of, hey, let's write $10,000 checks back and forth to each other all day long. Okay? That's not a good idea. So I just wanted to address that. Actually, let me pause real quick here. Can we pause the video too? Okay. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So there are no problems. There are only solutions. Okay. If you're a creditor, you're going to
find that, some of the things that I was able to see this weekend, you think that we've been exposed to solutions here. There's a whole other world of new solutions that I've been exposed to that are extremely powerful, but if used irresponsibly, extremely dangerous. Okay? Dangerous to the level of getting your butt thrown in jail. Okay? But if you use it responsibly, you do your due diligence, and you understand, know the hows and the whys behind these things before you do anything, then you'll probably end up okay. Okay? So, that being said, I wanted to, anyone download the documents for tonight's class and print them out? No? Okay. How many of you, can those of you on the phone making noise, please mute? Okay.